Hi, I'm Mike from Michael's Motor Cars, located in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. If you follow a lot of our videos in our cars, you'll see that many times we come up with cars with really great history and interesting stories, and this car definitely fits the bill. So come on over and take a look at it. The car that I'm presenting today is a 1965 Corvette C2 convertible. The interesting part about this car is the overall originality of the car. This car was sold new, of course, in 1965. A doctor bought the car originally. He owned it for about 2 or 3 years. He sold it to someone else, and this was all happening up in Connecticut, in West Hartford, Connecticut. It was sold to someone else as a second owner. They only had the car for about a year. And then they were going to get married, and they needed the money, and so they sold the car. The car was then sold to Paula, who also lived in West Hartford, who had known the car since it was brand new. She had seen it was brand new. She saw it driving around town. She always wanted it. And then finally her opportunity came along when the second owner needed money. So Paula bought the car April 2nd, 1969. And we have a copy of the original Connecticut title, which is showing Paula is here on the title. She bought the car for herself, West Hartford, Connecticut, April 2nd, 1969. And she had a mortgage on the car, what they called it, which was, of course, a loan on the car. She then just owned the car and drove it and used it and loved it and enjoyed it. So it is a 3-owner car. In talking to Paula, it has not had any paint work. It's never been damaged. It's never been in an accident. It's never had any major repairs at all. The main negative to the car, it does not have its original motor. The car originally came with a 327. That motor was replaced years ago. In its place now is a 350 Chevy. It's probably, based on the block castings, as far as we can tell, we believe it's from the mid-70s, a 1975 350 Chevy. We'll certainly allow, I know the GM Chevy Corvette community will weigh in on the castings, and we welcome any comments. I am by no means a Corvette expert. But other than the motor being replaced, which I know that's significant, the rest of the car is the way it left the factory. So the way it presents today, the paint has held up, I think, very well. You can see, and we'll go to the back, you will see some flaws in the fiberglass, which were very typical as the cars age. But overall, the fit and finish is very nice, pretty much the way it left the factory. We did take the car over to Lee Jackson, who's a local Corvette guy in Lancaster County, and he's been doing Corvettes for a long time. He pointed out right away there is a dimple right here in the cowl, and this is original factory dimple, which means also the front has never been replaced. He looked over the car carefully and also came to the conclusion, yes, what Paula was telling me, it's a very original survivor Corvette. This, of course, is the 350. It does have a 4-barrel carb. Some of the work that we did on the car when we received it, we changed the oil and filter, checked the fluids, adjusted the brakes, put a new battery in it, put a set of brand new tires on it. You'll also see in the chassis photos we replaced both of the dual exhaust pipes the whole way back from the manifolds back. It had correct mufflers on it, and we left them on because they are correct Corvette mufflers, and we put correct tailpipes on now. So that's all finished. It sounds great. The exhaust system is beautifully done. Other than that, we did very little to the car. We cleaned it up. Paula had been driving it, so it was driven sparingly over the last couple of years. But it's a preservation car. It's a survivor. So come on over here and take a look at the interior of the car. In this car's case, we left the leather alone. It is a nicely optioned car. It came from the factory with the black leather. We did not dye it. This is just the way it is. So the next owner, depending on where they are on the patina, preservation, or replace spectrum, they can do whatever they'd like to do. It's very serviceable, very usable. It's all in good condition. You could re-dye it or touch up some of this, but we left it alone. The carpeting is all original. The door panels are all original. There's a slight part right here. We took photographs of this. This could be addressed, taken care of. And the other thing which I mentioned in the driving video it is not the correct knob on the AM/FM radio. It's the wrong knob in the tuning. So the car came from the factory with leather seats. It's a power steering car, and it's a power window car. And of course, it's a 4-speed manual. Going here, I'll show you. This flips up. The carpeting in the rear area is all original. We are pretty sure the top is original, which also means the top is very old. We recommend, it could be used as an emergency top if you get caught in rain, but to really be useful, it should have a new top to be usable. So along the rear of the car, there's a little bit of bubbling on the chrome. But again, it's what the car came with, all the lenses and everything. There is a hairline paint imperfection here that runs along the rear of the car. Again, that's very typical for the older fiberglass. And there's a slight crack in the fiberglass right here. So an interesting story that Paula was telling me. She's had this car all this time and just drove it sparingly. I think it has 70-some thousand miles on it. 78,000. They are correct because she's had it since it was 4 years old. She was driving the car once, which she would do, usually once a week, and she came across a Corvette shell, which she thought was fun. So she just pulled the car in, and this was in 1993, Danbury Auto Park, so up in Connecticut. She pulled in, and the Corvette show was in full swing. She hadn't washed the car or anything, she just showed up. And she felt a little self-conscious and said, I happen to have this Corvette. And they talked to her and looked at it, and she said, well, I've had it for all these years. I bought it when it was 4 years old. So they said, oh my God, you needed to go to the front of the line. They put her at the front of the show in the preservation class, and she came home with second place. And she was astounded, and she was overwhelmed that all these people, when they really looked at this car, said, you have such an original car. And here it is. So that's a cool little story. All of this material comes with the car. We have some early Corvette advertising pieces. Love this one. Go tell everybody with the $14,000 cars about your Corvette. The usual books and things. Some parts go with the car. There's a brand new 2 red taillight lenses. I know these are difficult to get. These are original and old. A never used backup light comes with the car, and some plugs and air filters, or plugs and fuel filter. We also do have the trim that goes on the motor. So this all comes with it. This, of course, covers the distributor and the spark plug wires. So that all comes with the car. Also, when Paula bought the car, before the guy that was getting married sold the car, he sold off the hardtop first. So he sold that for some money, and then he needed more money to get married. So when Paula bought it, it did not have the hardtop. So she immediately went out and sourced and bought a hardtop for the car. This hardtop is in very nice condition, but it came off of a blue car. So you can see the headliner and the interior trim is blue, but she had the outside painted red to match the car. So this is not original to the car, but came shortly after Paula bought the car. So coming around this side of the car, the new tailpipes that we did are fitting beautifully, and they look great. The car drives beautifully. Please watch the driving video. It's very smooth, lots of torque, which you would expect. The new tires are nice. As I mentioned, we just installed them. Coming around on this side of the car, it's really, when you just look at this and realize this has not been restored. This is not a restored car. This is an original body, original interior. And she just loved this car for many, many, many years. And drove it carefully. Obviously never raced. I don't think she drove it hard, just from talking to her. So if you're the type of person, and the headlight doors do open and close, both motors are properly working. If you're the type of person that values the preservation class, the originality in cars, we highly recommend take a serious look at this car. It's just incredibly original car. So if you have any questions, please let us know. We also have in the parts a new badge for the front We did not put it on the car. This is the original one, but a new one comes with the car. This is the kind of car you could go to any show, any Corvette show, and go straight to the preservation class because it really is one of those cars. So any questions, please ask us. We'll be happy to take more photographs, answer any questions. We welcome people to send people to do an inspection or come and see it and drive it. It's at our Lancaster, Pennsylvania location. And hopefully we'll find a really good home for this. Paula was very concerned where we would sell the car, who would get her baby. So we need to find a good owner for this wonderful car. Thanks for taking the time and watching our video.